cuffs are off, man. Get right, too many left in these leagues, but I ain't going.
Hey everybody, Adam Rank here.
What's up everybody? It's Marcus Grant from NFL Network.
This is AJ Dillon of the Green Bay Packers.
I got to give a shout out to y'all at Get Right Fantasy.
If you are not subscribed, what are you waiting for? You want to lose your league?
Check out the Get Right Fantasy Network.
You got to get right with the Get Right Fantasy Network.
Best of luck with your podcast. Appreciate the support.
And you're tuned in to watch my boys at Get Right Fantasy Network. Get you right. Enjoy the show.
Marking often, but I tune in every Friday. Strategies provided, I will lock in every way. So go and roll your sleeves up, yeah, go and roll your sleeves up. And I'm getting down, cause I roll my sleeves up. And I'm getting right, cause I roll my sleeves up.
What up? What up? What up, world? We're back at a special time tonight, doing this a little bit earlier. I'm Classic Mike. This is the Get Right Fantasy Network. Rasta cannot be here tonight. He has his son's football game, but it will just be me tonight. So we will do a game-by-game, breakdown. Also start-sit questions, of course, throughout the show. So make sure you throw your questions in the chat, and I will get to them as we go. Don't worry if I don't get to them while I'm going through a game. I'll make sure to talk about it right afterwards. Also, if you have questions for that game, ask them then. I'll ask them while we're talking about it. Just a quick breakdown of our weekly schedule. We have shows on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, like we have today, and Sunday, of course. Monday, we do Overreaction, waiver wire targets as well. Wednesday, we do some roster management, buy and sell trade targets as well. Fridays, we do game-by-game breakdowns with start-sit questions as we go. And then Sunday morning, I'm back with you guys doing last-minute start-sit advice, getting your actives and inactives prior to game time to get you guys ready for your Week 5 matchup. Whew. All righty. So if you're watching this later, make sure and feel free to hop on in the description and use the timestamps and chapter features to navigate to certain sections of the show. This is usually a longer show, so that's usually the best way to get in it, best way to watch and go back to see what we talked about. But we are getting very close to 1,000 subscriptions. We want to get to 1,000 subs. I think we're only 8 away if I checked this afternoon. So please keep your eyes out for our 1,000 subscriber giveaway. Once we hit our mark, we're going to be looking to give away this customized ring from trophysmack.com. So make sure you guys check out trophysmack.com. Use the promo code GETRIGHT, and they will help you at checkout. So keep an eye out for that 1,000 subscriber video, and we'll get you guys this new ring. Look at that. We got a few people in the chat already. We got Anthony in the house. He'll be in the chat helping out as well. We got Roberto Perez, but the citizen starts us off with his first question. Should I trade Kupp, Adams, or Chase for JT? I have Gibbs, Connor as my running backs. That's a great question. I'm assuming this is redraft. If it was Dynasty, I'd give you a different advice. Probably would, I would probably trade Kupp I'd probably trade Adams and go for JT if this was Dynasty. Redraft, that's a real tough one. I think you have to keep Adams for now, even though we'll get into it in a little bit. He's injured. Chase, I mean, you have a stable of really good wide receivers. Okay, so it's just a full PPR regular league. Yeah, man. I mean, this is crazy. I wish I had a lineup like this, and I'm glad, I bet you're glad you're getting cut back this week. That will be, we'll get into that a little more when we go through the Rams. But yeah, it's tough to say if you should trade for JT just yet. We don't know how he is coming back from the ankle. We don't know a lot of different things from it. JT as a standard is definitely better than what you have. Gibbs is a solid, you have a solid volume guy at the moment, but more towards the high end RB2. Gibbs is more of a low end RB2, but with a ton of upside with it. So at this point, and you say, next week I get Eckler back. I got him for Puka 2 weeks ago. I don't know if that changes anything. Yeah, then I wouldn't do it. I think you kind of have to. I wouldn't say take the L this week, but you're pretty much you have a solid squad moving forward. I think you should just at this point stick with Connor and Gibbs and kind of roll with it and see what you can get. Rasa kind of giving you good advice here. If it's 3 wide receiver or 2 and a flex, I just stick with Connor and Gibbs. You'll make up the point difference with those wide receivers. I think you're fine. I agree. I don't think you should be trading for JT. I think it should be more trading away JT. But you have to wait until he does anything to be able to do that. So Roberto got offered Breece Hall and Christian Watson for Ramondre Stevenson and Christian Kirk. Thinking about accepting. That's a tough one, man. Each side has somebody that I would want on there. I would prefer to have Breece Hall and Christian Kirk comparatively to Ramondre and Christian Watson. So for me, you're getting half and half of what I would want out of that particular trade. It's really, in that case, you have to kind of focus on what you're trying to, go for here. In that case, I don't know, man. I'd stay. You're getting Hall in this case. Yeah, I might do it. I don't. My whole thing is the Christian Watson part of it. I'm not as high on Christian Watson as a lot of other people. Breece Hall should be fine moving forward based on what we heard from Robert Saleh this week, that he's kind of off the pitch count. Ramondre, I'm just not high on anymore. I kind of just threw that away. It's tough. It's really tough. But, Ross is giving you some advice here. I don't mind that trade coming back. Zay Jones is coming back this week. And unfortunately, Kirk wasn't doing as well with him in the lineup. Roberto says, I'll be getting Hall and Watson to go into the flex position, have Tyreek and Amari Cooper as my RB1 and 2. Okay. Yeah, then you know what? I wouldn't mind doing that trade. I think you have good pieces in there to make that all work. So, yeah, go for it. I like it. Will Hayes in the house asking his question. What's going on, Will? He goes, who should I start? Jalen Waddle or Devontae Smith, PPR, a chain or Montgomery? Oh, my. So you have an abundance of riches with a chain and Montgomery. In this case, it's a little bit harder for me for the running back part. I'd probably move towards a chain just because of the PPR aspect of it. Even though I really do like Montgomery. Jalen Waddle or Devontae Smith. Devontae Smith. I thought I said Swift. That one's a tougher one for me. While Waddle is good and out of concussion protocol, he'll be playing. I hate picking. The hard part for me is that if you play a chain, you have to play Smith just because I don't think you want all of the pieces in the Miami game, even though it's good pieces. Yeah, I'm probably going to say a chain in Devontae Smith just because you don't want to eat into your, Waddle. If one does good, then the other's not. So I rather, pivot to another game where Smith is still a very good option. So then the citizen goes, okay, cool. Thanks, guys. Also, tight end, Henry or Ertz? I'm going to say Ertz. Ertz has been targeted quite a bit. You can't go wrong with that. They're going against Cincinnati. Cincinnati is fairly good at covering the tight end, but I think that they're going to have to throw a ton either way. So I think Ertz is probably your better offer there, or better start there. Sober Money, what's going on, man? He goes Dynasty, PPR, Superflex. All right. Kyler Waddle and a third for Richardson and Addison. I'd get AR. Yeah. I would probably do this trade. I don't like Kyler Murray. I traded him away in my own league. I got an orphan team with Kyler on it. I traded him away as quickly as I could. I got as much as I could for him. If that's the trade offer, I would take it. And I agree with Anthony on the Ertz question. Standard is definitely Henry. PPR, definitely Ertz. I agree. And Ant's going Devontae Smith just because I want A chain and I want diversity. Yeah, same thing. I think. See, we're thinking alike there, Rasta. We're thinking alike. I've been around you too much. I'm only kidding. I can't be around you enough. I wish you were here, but I understand. It's all good. All right. So let's get into the Thursday night recap. We had the Bears versus the Commanders. Bears took it to the Commanders at their own home. DJ Moore, good at football, man. He looked great last night. He had a lot of good catches. One, he should have had 4 touchdowns, not 3, which is insane. They definitely blew the whistle. They blew the play dead and then didn't go back to look at it because it didn't look like he stepped out of bounds. And I watched that play like 10 times. So anyway, he had a monster historic game. Now you can't expect that every week, but Moore looked good. It looks like they have a good connection. We were a little, at this point, a little bit nervous about how things were going to, pan out for the two of them, Fields and DJ Moore. But they look like Fields is starting to kind of play and be the way that people wanted him to be. I was never really high on Fields as a whole, but he looked good last night. He looked really solid and, did well with, they definitely had runs made for him, but he tended to throw well in the pocket and, really did well. So I'm really excited to see what he can do moving forward. Unfortunately, he doesn't have anybody else to throw to other than Cole Kmet. Darnell Mooney, he targeted a bunch of times and missed him. And on top of all that, he doesn't really have anybody else on the team. St. Brown is okay. I like him, but he's just a very low man on the totem pole guy. And they just lost Chase Claypool, who got traded to the Dolphins because it's Chase Claypool. Also in that game, Khalil Herbert ended up getting injured halfway through the game. He was unable to finish it. He kind of twisted his ankle in a really weird way. And also during the game, Roshan Johnson ended up having to he was out during the game because of a concussion. And if you've looked at anything recently, if you suffer a concussion in any week, I don't think anyone has come back after the next week. So you can expect him to be gone another week. So he might be out in week 6. So the Deontay Foreman, who was a healthy scratch for this game, will probably be a big pickup come Monday morning or Tuesday morning. So keep an eye out for him if he's available in your league. He will be a high value guy to pick up. Commanders, they didn't look great at all. They looked like garbage. Logan Thomas was the most productive player of all of them. Sam Howell, I like the kid. I'll give him credit where credit is due. I mean, he's not a good fantasy asset, but he's a hell of a football player. Stumbling, bumbling, just getting anywhere, just trying to stay up, running through guys, trying to get that extra yard. He's a solid player. He just had no time to pass it. And when he did have time, he did well with his passes. Curtis Samuel became heavily involved at one point. They weren't really using Dotson and McLaurin the way that they should. But yeah, there were a lot of times where I didn't even see McLaurin or Dotson on the field, and it was mostly Pringle and Brown and Samuel all out there at once. They're fast little guys. So I mean, is Samuel a pickup? Maybe. I think he's someone that you could probably bench for now and use him during the bye weeks. Logan Thomas seems to be a good fill-in. I mean, this team goes all the way until week 18 or week 14 with no bye. So Redskins are somewhat valuable in that particular. Commanders are still kind of valuable for that, So yeah, it was a great game. It was fun to watch, even though the Bears took it to them, but still a fun game to watch. So we got a couple other things going on in the chat. Oh, Anthony going, I hate that they blow the whistle if he scores and gets reviewed anyway. So let it stand and, or let the coach challenge. They didn't even try to challenge, which I thought was hilarious. Challenge the spot of the ball. And if you show that he didn't get out of bounds, at least you can, move it up a little bit maybe. But geez. Roberto goes, glad they blew the whistle going against him this week, unfortunately. Yeah, so am I. I know how I feel. But that same situation happened to me and Cooper Kupp a few weeks ago. Yeah, when Cooper had that big game. More of a comment than a question. I missed out on a trade for DJ Moore yesterday, right before the game with a manager that rhymes with pasta. Nice. Yeah. It was unchallengeable at that point? Whatever. It was ridiculous. They shouldn't have blown the whistle to begin with. That was such a crappy thing to do. So like I said, if you guys have any questions that are, watching at the moment, throw your questions in the chat for Start Sit. I'm going to be going game by game right now. We're going to just start throwing questions. I'm going to just start breaking down games, and I'll answer your questions right after I, break down everything, give you an idea of what's going on. And I'll get to your questions. If your question involves the game, I'll make sure to answer it. But don't worry, I will get back to you after I'm done. So first is the Jaguars at 2-2 in this case, in London, versus the Bills, who are 3-1. Jaguars stayed in London for the, after their game. They've been in London the whole time. The Bills are just flying, not just flying there, but they're, I think, flying out tonight. So they are currently on the way there. Right now, Buffalo's favored by 5.5. The over-under is 48.5. So in this particular case, it seems to be favored. The Bills are pretty high favored in this game. Bills are pretty healthy coming in. They might be getting back Von Miller. They don't have Russo, so he will be out. But the Jags are getting, they might be getting Zay Jones back. He's questionable with a knee injury at this time. He is in London with the team. He's been practicing limited. He might be able to play. We'll see how that goes. We'll know a little bit more towards game time. Overall for this, these games, I mean, you're definitely going to be starting your Bills. Cook is definitely a start. Allen, of course, Diggs. If you're going into guys like Gabe Davis, that's a harder question to answer. He's been coming up a little bit more lately, but I honestly, if you want to throw him in as a low end or a high end wide receiver 3, I think that could work. But overall, that's probably who I'd start. Tight end wise, Knox and Kincaid kind of eat each other. It's kind of hard to tell which is going on there. I don't think I'd start either one of them. Jaguars, I mean, you're definitely starting Lawrence. He's going to have a little bit of a tough day, but we'll see how it goes. ETN, you're starting. Christian Kirk, Ridley, Ingram, I think those guys are fine. I think if Zay Jones plays, he's a risky start. So I don't think I would do that. But if you're definitely playing everybody else. High point total, that they're showing. So yeah, I think you can load up most of the guys except for the guys I mentioned before. ASD AFG Hop. What's going on? He goes, hey, Mike. Hey, Anthony. My rival of this week had DJ Moore, but he left him in on the bench. So relieved, not going to lie. He started Ayuk and Lamb. He started Ayuk, CD, and Ridley. Okay. So he started Ayuk, CD Lamb, and Ridley. Interesting. I probably would have played him over Ridley, maybe. But yeah. Sorry, it is October. Need to start getting into my Oktoberfest. Yeah, that I might just start calling you G-Hop. I think that makes it so much easier. What's going on, G-Hop? So yeah, good for you. I'm glad that happened. I ended up I'm in a 2 wide receiver league. I'm helping my wife's team out a little bit, and we have DJ Moore, and I started him last night over a couple guys. So I'm pretty happy with the results, to say the least. Yeah, way to dodge bullets there. That's crazy. Yeah, let's go with G-Hop. I like it. Just easier to go with. I don't want to have to read out your whole name like it all. Is it supposed to be like a sad AF G-Hop? It's all good. I like G-Hop. Let's keep it a G-Hop. Just like I'm Classic Mike, let's keep it a G-Hop. Easy to say, easy to do. All right, let's move on to the Texans, who are 2-2, going against the Falcons in Atlanta at 2-2. Atlanta is favored by 1.5 points. The over-under is 41.5. So, sorry, I had to show this. Just smash the keyboard. Nice, that's funny. So in this game, the Texans. Right now, Laramie Tunsil is questionable, but it looks like he's going to play. They're a little short otherwise at guard. So I think they're losing a guard as well. So be aware of that. Otherwise, everyone else is pretty healthy. Damian Pierce was on the injury report early in the week, but he is currently off of it, which is great. So he will be available, of course. And the Falcons are pretty healthy as well. They are good to go. There are no question marks for this team. Everybody, well, there are, but they're nobody that anybody needs to care about at this point. Overall, you're starting Bijan. What up, Albert? How you doing, man? Hope everything's good. If you have questions, throw them in the chat. We'll go from there. I think Bijan is good. Bijan's fine. Throw him in. You're good. Tyler Algier should be fine as well. This is a, pass funnel defense, so Texans tend to have higher rushing numbers than most. They are currently, let's change that view. There we go. They are currently 29th against the run. So Algier, throw him out there. I'd say more of a flex play. Excuse me. Bijan, good to go. Wide receivers, Drake, London, play at your own risk. That's the best I can tell you. Definitely play him at your own risk. I would bench him. That's just me. Kyle Pitts, you're benching. Jonnu Smith might not be a horrible tight end ad. If you're looking for a tight end for a streamer, he might not be a bad ad. I really do like him a lot. I think he's been playing well as of late. They've been using him a lot more than Kyle Pitts. So, Jonnu Smith isn't a horrible option if you're looking for a, this at least a weekly streamer at this point. Desmond Ridder, yeah, get rid of him. Texans, CJ Stroud, load him up. Damian Pierce, you're fine. Nico Collins, Tank Dell, I think you're good. I think this is going to be more of a Tank Dell week than a Nico Collins week. I could be wrong, but it just feels like that up and down type deal where teams are going to focus on one thing and then, and then the other one goes off, then everyone's going to focus on Dell and then he goes off. It just seems to be that type of situation. I'm not saying that, I'm not hoping that because, Nico Collins is what? I think wide receiver 5 right now. So yeah, I'm not hoping for this, but could be an interesting type situation. Overall, the Falcons are actually pretty decent when it comes to defense. They're top 5 in, against the running back. They're also top 8 going against the wide receiver. And they're also, believe it or not, no, they're a little bit worse against the QB. But those are pretty high numbers considering, it being the Falcons defense and who they have. So honestly, I would lower expectations for the Texans, but the Texans have been proving us wrong all year, going against good defenses like the Steelers and still putting up a ton. So either way, I think this is going to be a good matchup. AJ Tyrell going against most likely Nico Collins. That's going to be a tough matchup for him. So that's why I kind of feel a little bit more for Tank Dell. So just keep expectations a little bit lower than normal, but I think he can still play. There's a very few amount of people that I would play above Nico Collins, to be fair. So let's get into the chat. This thing's blown up. We got Warrior Loft in the house. What's going on, Warrior? So G-Hop goes, by the way, need some advice if I should start either Breece Hall or Jonathan Taylor. I mean, Taylor should be the obvious answer, but Hall is going against the Broncos. Anthony thinks Breece Hall is better than JT this week if JT is even active. JT, I had JT starting, but I'm going to change it right now. Yeah, see, okay, just so you know, G-Hop, he needs to be activated as of tomorrow. He had full practices all week. He said, I'm healthy, I'm ready. Doesn't mean he's going to be activated, but it looks promising. We'll get to him in a minute, but no, he's in 2 games. But either way, that's what's going on. But it's not a bad matchup for you to go against, Breece Hall going against the Broncos. So I think you're good either way. Warrior Loft goes, pick one for my flex. All righty. So Jaleel McLaughlin versus the Jets, or Mike Wilson versus the Bengals. Breida versus the Dolphins, or Sutton versus the Jets, or Najee versus the Ravens. Oof. All right. So for me, I'm going to say I like Mike Wilson. I'm a big fan of the kid. I'm going to take him out of this equation. Jaleel McLaurin, honestly, or McLaughlin, honestly, I mean, he played well last week instead of Javonte. In this particular situation, they're probably Javonte just has a thigh bruise from what I keep reading. So honestly, I don't see him getting a ton of run. If it's full PPR, maybe. Breida versus the Dolphins is tough. We don't know if Saquon's going to play or not. They have a longer time to the bye week, so for them, they can't. I mean, they can wait, but they can't because they're under a lot of pressure at this point. So I have a sneaky suspicion right now. Barkley was listed as questionable this week. He limited all week, did okay in practice. But I don't see Breida playing. Sutton, it's between Sutton and Najee for me. And yeah, I have to agree with Anthony. It might be Sutton, but he's going to be going against Sauce Gardner. But he's been productive lately. He looks good. I really do like Sutton a lot. So I think if it's PPR, I'm leaning Sutton. If it's more towards half point, I might lean Najee, even, but I don't like it either way. But I'm going to lean Sutton here. G-Hop goes, JT said that he was 100% compromised. Yeah, no, he's not. Like I said, I think he'll be just fine. So G-Hop goes, Giants need to rely on Barkley as much as possible. Danny has looked awful except for that one Arizona game. Yeah. I could go on and on and on and on and on and on and on about the Giants. I have written multiple paragraphs of trying to, help Giants fans off the proverbial edge. It's not been good. I'm in a lot of Giants chats and talk to a lot of Giants fans, and to be honest, it's been tough. So yes, they do need Barkley back. He is a good, big part of the whole thing. G-Hop goes, as a Barkley owner, I'm enthusiastic. Yeah, man, I want him to do well too, and I think I had high expectations for him this year, but he says the O-line sucks. Yeah, the O-line's hurt. They're missing right now. They're missing 3 pieces of their line. So, I mean, they're gonna and it's their top rookie for the at center. They're missing their left tackle, who's an All-Pro, and they're missing a guard. And that's not good for your particular team to be missing that many people. Now, it's not an excuse. The Houston Texans have been like that, and they're 2. We just said what 2-2, and they've been playing well. And Stroud looks good. So it is what it is. I think that there's a lot of. I think in these situations you adapt your team to work with what you have. And in this case, you have a bunch of smaller receivers that are quick, that are fast, and all you need to do, and you have a crap line. So you have very little time to throw. So in this particular case, throw quick out to the out route, quick little dumps or quick slant routes in. And have motion in your freaking offense instead of just having everybody stand there and then spike the ball or hike the ball and go forward. It's ridiculous. I just sit there and see them just standing there and they just get pressed up in press coverage. And then they can't get out of it because they're just locked up. Give them space, let them move. But it is what it is. So I'll probably say this all again when I go to the Giants later. So Priceless in the house. What's going on, man? Rate my 20-team league team. So he goes Russ, JT, Aaron Jones, Tyreek Hill, Christian Kirk, Cole Kmet, Tutu Atwell, maybe Jameson Williams if he's good. Okay. That's a good, I'm going to have to agree with Rasta that that's a pretty nice team considering it's a 20-man league. That's pretty good. Good for you. He got JT at 21st overall. Okay. And then you got trades for Hill, Kirk, and Jones. Okay. I think it looks good. I mean, it's definitely, well, like you said, it's definitely not the team you started with, but you were able to draft JT. We got him at a good price. So yeah. Oh, and he's like, G-Hop was like, were you the last pick? And he's like, yeah. Okay. So yeah, I want to say Brown for the first pick and then trade him away. Okay, cool. Please listen to Anthony here. Also hit that subscribe button for us if you haven't already. We're trying to hit 1,000 subs. We're 8 away. We appreciate you guys coming to hang out. So thank you so much for those who are joining us now. Please make sure you guys hit the subscribe button. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Would greatly appreciate it. Jimmy Bob. What's going on, man? He says, I have St. Brown out. Yes, he is doubtful. I got all wide receivers on a bye week on the bench. I can grab one wide receiver from the waiver. Should I grab Curtis Samuel, Romeo Doubs, Rashid Shaheed, Reynolds, or Raymond, or any other suggestion? So you can't grab Curtis Samuel. Sorry, already played. Romeo Doubs is available. Grab him. I like Doubs out of that whole group of people. I don't mind Josh. I like Josh Reynolds. I don't mind Raymond. In this case, if you're giving me Doubs, Reynolds, or Raymond, you're going with Doubs. Doubs is just the best pick out of this whole group. I am definitely going to go Doubs. So, whew. All righty. KJ, what's going on, KJ Flint? Miss you, buddy. He goes, who do I bench? Garrett Wilson, Diggs, Devontae Smith, or Puka? What league is this? And why can't I be a part of it? Okay. So I don't think you're sitting Diggs. I don't think you're sitting. Are you sitting Garrett? I sat Garrett last week, and it didn't hurt me, but it didn't really do anything crazy. It's going against Denver, which is a good matchup, or at least has been a good matchup. I will not ask about your running backs. So I don't want to say Smith because he's got a good matchup too. I'm going to have to say Puka. And I don't like saying Puka, but Cup being back might be the only thing that kind of hurts his value a little bit. Smith is probably my second option, but you can't say Diggs. And you can't say Wilson. I'm sorry. I don't think you can do that. Brad Bud, what's going on, man? Great to have you here. He goes, trade Burrow and Gabe Davis for Stroud and Nico Collins. Ooh. Oh, my heart bleeds. Brad, I'm not going to lie. I have the same predicament, just without the wide receivers. I would say go for it. In redraft, Burrow's at that point where you just want to get rid of him and move on and get whatever you can for him. I don't hate that. I really don't hate that question. I think I would go for Stroud and Nico Collins at this point. He's second in passing yards, and pass attempts, I think. I'm doing it. Yeah, I think I'm doing it. Go for it, Brad. Go for it. I don't hate that question. I asked that question myself the other day, like I said, for the quarterbacks. Do I trade Burrow for Stroud? And it's looking like it more and more every day. So Bob Jimmy, good old Jim Bob, says, I have Watson. Do I start Dobbs and Watson or sit Watson out this game and grab someone else? I don't like Watson over Dobbs. I think he's being favored more in the offense. Watson's still coming back from injury. If you're going to sit somebody, maybe it would be Watson. But if you're grabbing anybody else, that's the tough part. You gave me not so great options, to be fair. Josh Reynolds is great. It's just he's a little bit hurt and banged up. But honestly, yeah, it would be hard for me to play Watson over a guy like Josh Reynolds. You would need something a lot more for me to be like, yeah, go for it. You know what I mean? But playing Watson and Dobbs in a decent Monday night matchup against the Raiders, it's not a horrible option. At least you're getting all the points from them having to pass if they're down. So that's how I feel about it. Priceless goes, do you guys think I should start Hunter Henry or Higbee? That's a good question. Higbee is probably my answer. Higbee's definitely the PPR answer. Hunter Henry is more of the standard. That's how I would lean. And no. G-Hop, no. Waddle over Dobbs. But I'm just saying I like Dobbs over Watson, not Waddle. So, let's get to I'm going to butcher your name. Chaka. He goes, would you trade Olave, Andrews, Williams, Thielen for Hill, Ingram, DK, and Evans? I mean, if you're solid at running back, I might do that. That's a tough one though. It like I said, if you're good at running back and you have a good like amount of depth at running back, I would do that. I don't mind taking the hit at tight end. I'm getting a good wide receiver out of it. I think DK and Evans can kind of keep everything steady. So I'm not against that trade at all. But like I said, the caveat, you have to have a good running back core. So oh, okay. So Rasta said that's where that came from. I didn't read all of it. So Rasta said, hot take, I'm starting Dobbs over Waddle. Interesting. Roberto goes, would y'all start Christian Watson or Rashid Rice? Rice is going against who we got here. I think I'm going to use the defense here. Rice going against Minnesota. Minnesota is where are you? Are you no longer a football team? You're not on my list. Where? Oh, there you are. You're 29th. That's a good matchup. I don't trust Watson that much. See, the thing for me, Watson is still hurt and he's still playing on a pitch count. And if they go down, they're going to just pull him. I think Rice is in a better spot because they're going to, if the Vikings give them problems, they're going to still have to throw it. So, yeah, I think I'm going to lean Rice, even though if Watson was healthy, I would definitely tell you Watson, but he's not healthy at the moment. So we got Fletcher Cox in the house. I mean, Fletcher, I'm sorry that you're out this week. I really am. I'm a Giants fan. You're one of the better defensive players in the league, in my opinion. So great to have you here, if that's really you, which I know it's not, but it would be cool if it was. Should I trade DK for Ayuk? No, I think you should try somebody else to get Ayuk. I think you should have DK and Ayuk on your team. I think that's a better scenario. I don't think you should trade DK away for him, though. But you should definitely try to get him with some other asset. I wouldn't use DK. I would keep him. DK is a low-end wide receiver 1. Ayuk is a high-end wide receiver 2. So you're just kind of trading one for the other, if that makes sense. And you're kind of getting a lower value for it. But it doesn't mean that he's not a good player. I mean, I like both players. I'd rather have both. But that's just me. Prices goes, do we think the Vikings got a chance at winning the NFC North? I do. Easy answer. I do. J Media goes, what up, Mike? Give me that update on Saquon for this weekend. Sheesh. I hope he plays. Yeah. I really hope he plays. We need to see how this works out. I don't know. And I don't know how good he's going to be, even if he can play. That's going to be the hard part for me, because for me, he's going to have, like, I saw some video of practice, and there were a lot of runs that he had where he was trying to cut and he couldn't really cut as well as he wanted to, which is definitely the high ankle sprain. And it's something that's bothering me a little bit. And it makes me think that he's one of those on the bad side of questionable, where they're kind of labeling him that way and then they're going to pull him at the last minute. So I wouldn't rely on him this weekend. I would definitely make sure you have some contingency, but they play at 1. So he's in your flex spot, to say the least. So Roberto needs some upside because he just got 50 put on by DJ Moore. Rasta goes, Fletcher, I'm a big time DK fan and I'm a Niners fan, so that's tough for him. Yeah, it's better to have both. He already has Waddle and Pittman. I mean, I would maybe trade Pittman for Ayuk or Pittman and somebody else for Ayuk, a low end running back, or a handcuff or something like that for him. That's who I would do just because I rather have Ayuk overall. So Fletcher goes, I also traded Derrick Henry and Tua for Stevenson and Richardson. What do you think? I don't know if I like that too much. I mean, if it's a super flex league, yeah, but I'd rather have Henry and Tua. That's just me though. I like Tua. And see, me and Anthony are on the same page tonight. It's so awesome to see. Yeah, he says package Pittman with some other depth piece for Ayuk. I think that's the best course that you can take. Yeah, agree 100% with Anthony. Okay, so this is a super flex league too. So I get where he's going with it. I don't hate the trade. I just would rather have Derrick Henry and Tua in this equation. Stevenson's not horrible. It's just he's not as valuable to me as Henry is. So, yeah. Ray W in the house. What's going on? He goes, Mike, what's up? What's going on, man? On here earlier today. I have things going on tomorrow, so I didn't want to be up until 2 o'clock in the morning. So figured I'd come on a little bit earlier for you guys and make sure I can answer your questions because I want to make sure you guys have everything you need for your matchups for week 5. Let's move on to new games. So make sure you guys throw your questions in the chat. I will get to them as soon as possible. If it is part of the game, I will answer it during that. Otherwise, I'll get right to it after. So we're going to go to the Panthers, who are 0-4, going to Detroit to visit the Lions at 3-1. Detroit is favored by 9.5. The over-under in this game is 44 points. Panthers currently have Miles Sanders as questionable with a groin injury. Okay, normal. He's been playing. Chuba's been getting a little bit more run. So if you have Sanders, I would suggest getting Chuba. That's just me. Lions have Amon St. Brown listed as doubtful. He's probably not playing it at all. Usually when you're doubtful, you're out. So in this case, he's not playing. Josh Reynolds is questionable with a knee injury, I believe. Might want to go grab Khalif Raymond or Marvin Jones. Jameson Williams is back from a suspension, but he's labeled as questionable with no injury tag. So it states that on it. It says questionable, no injury tag. So just be aware of that. I don't think Williams plays this week. And even if he does, he'll be very limited. So I would be very cautious with that at this point. He did practice in full, but just be cautious. Jamar Gibbs is questionable with a hamstring as well, and he was limited on Friday. He was good all week until then, so it popped up as of today. Just saying, it's going to be tough. But Gibbs is there. Monty's still there. Craig Reynolds is there too. Overall, I'm basically for the Panthers. You're loading up Thielen. Thielen is the constant. I think that if you're looking for the running back in this game for the Panthers, you're going with Chuba over Sanders at this point. I think you have to bench Sanders until he gets healthy. That's just me. Tight end Hayden Hurst kind of fell off the face of the earth. I like Hurst a lot, and it's a little upset. I'm a little upset by that, but it is what it is. For the Lions, you're definitely loading up Montgomery. Throw him in. Jared Goff, temper expectations, but load him up. He does very well at home, so throw Goff in your lineup. Laporta, playing until further notice, and I finally got Laporta in all 7 of my leagues. Yay! So thanks 4th and 20 in that in the home league I just joined. Really appreciate that. Now I now have the I have all the power. But yeah, wide receivers wise, if Josh Reynolds is available, I'm playing him. I think he could be a good start. Just for those people that are looking for those, bye week filling guys. Khalif Raymond, if he doesn't, is probably a better option. Marvin Jones is available, but I probably wouldn't touch him unless I'm in a really Oh, sorry. It was show me your touchdowns. My bad. I have to get this. I have to get it right. Show me your touchdowns. Thank you, Steve. Thank you so much. Beyond that, yeah, not much I would do otherwise. So those are guys I'm probably starting for this game. So the chat blew up right after I left, and Ray goes, if Barkley plays, should I even use him? I would temper your expectations. I would probably use him more as a flex start than a start, if that makes sense. I have him in a league with Jamar Gibbs, and I have to make a decision if I'm playing Gibbs or him. If he's available, do I play him? Maybe. I mean, honestly, the Dolphins are. Where are they? Dolphins are 22nd against the run, or 22nd against the running back at this point. I don't hate it. It's just I don't know if he's going to be as productive as he usually is. He might just need one of those fall into the end zone type deals. If anything, he's out there just to take a freaking defender out of the box. So yeah, I might even use him, but it varies based on your scenarios. Like in my wife's league, I have Saquon, but I have Mixon, Mostert, and Monty, and I think I'd rather play all three of them over Barkley. Maybe Mostert being the one, the man out just because of A-Chain. But yeah, so. And no, that's not a homer pick. That's just how I feel about it. J Media goes, so you're saying Michael Wilson versus Cincinnati is greater than Saquon for flex? Ew. I don't think I would say that, but I would prefer Jacoby Myers for sure. Jacoby Myers, I would do over Saquon. Yes. Jimmy coming back, and I think it's a good matchup for him. Devontae Adams came up on the injury report with a shoulder injury. We'll get to all of that in a few minutes, but yeah, I would definitely do Jacoby over that. So let's see. We got Derek in the house. What's going on, Derek? Nice to meet you. Glad to have you in. Hopefully I can help you with your question. He goes 10 team, half point PPR, 2 flex. Got it. Pick my second flex. All right, you got 2. Madison, Dobbs, Dell, or Laporta. Now, we all know how much I love Laporta, but he's not going to be in a flex spot for me. So he's out. I would be starting Laporta unless you have Kelsey in that spot. If you have Kelsey in that spot, you're good to go. Move on. Madison's hard to trust. I'm just not going to do it right now. Dobbs and Dell are the other 2. I think I'm going to lean. I think I'm going to lean Dell. I have this sneaky suspicion it's going to be one of those. Nico did good last week. Let's give it to Tank this week, and it's just going to keep going back and forth. Or there's going to be games where they both go off. Hey, smart. I love when I'm that good. So yeah, it makes sense. So I would most likely probably go with Dell here. Dell has a unfavorable matchup, but I think it's a situation where AJ Tyrell is going to be on Nico, and then Tank has a little bit more time to run around. So yeah, I think that's the way I'd lean for that particular scenario. I completely agree. I wouldn't be confident with Madison either. I have him in a couple leagues, and unfortunately I have to kind of roll with it. So yeah. So Ray goes, don't start him over Andrews either. I did that. Yeah. No, I get it. I just love Laporta in general. So Derek goes, thanks for the insight. Hoping to turn it around this week. I hope you turn it around too, man. I always wish everybody the best of luck as long as you're not facing me. I always just want to make sure everybody wins their league. So I'm doing anything I can to make sure you guys get the information you need to win your league. And that's my one thing about that game. I feel it's more of a feeling than like a stat thing. I honestly don't know how that will work out, the matchup based and all that stuff. I know that the Falcons are really good against the pass and the run. They're actually a very good defense considering. It's just I have a weird feeling they're going to cover Nico Collins after last week and keep Tank Dell kind of open, and they're going to just throw it all over the yard like they have been. or run it a little more to kind of open the pass. But either way, I don't trust Madison. And they're going against, who are they going against? Kansas City, right? So Kansas City is fourth against the run. Yeah, no. I'm good. I think they're going to pass against the Chiefs. Chiefs are fifth against the pass. Yeah, so take their biggest weakness. There it goes. Off to a rough start in one league. Choose to start Tua over or instead of Fields and flex Monty over. Oh no. Hey man, I know how I completely understand that, and I know a lot of people that did that. Oh man. Ray trying to make you feel better. I can make you feel better. I drop Fields for Stroud. Hey man, I mean you kind of lucked out either way. You still got a consistent player that's been playing well, but not like, what Fields did. But damn, man, that's crazy. I had that particular situation, like I said, in my wife's league, and her scenario, it just made sense to play DJ Moore this week against Washington. I've never really felt like Washington has a strong corner group and a secondary. So for me, I had him and Ridley in, and I had Monty flexed out, and I feel confident with that because I didn't have DK Metcalf. So for me, it was just an easy fix. I'm actually sitting Nico Collins in that league, which is crazy that I even have that ability. So J Media goes, who dares me to drop Roschon Johnson? He's garbage so far. Sheesh. If it's redraft, I have no problem with that. He will be out probably next week. So, Rasta, really, guys? I've been calling Fields a buy. Y'all watch us every week. Why, Ray? Why? Hey, man, listen to Rasta. He knows his stuff. Yeah, Roberto. He's got Herbert out this week. Yeah. Well, no. See, I honestly don't think Roschon's playing this week. So, the League 2, man, you can only have 2 quarterbacks, and I already had Richardson. So why couldn't you have Fields? I'm very confused. It's okay. It's okay. There'll be a chance he plays and have a 9-day break. Yeah, I know that, but he would be the first to come back. There were a lot of guys that got hurt on a Thursday night that didn't come back, that were in concussion protocol. I'm just laying that out there. They've been very, very, they've been keeping things very tight with that. I'm telling you right now, there's a good probability he won't. Yeah, both Herbert and Johnson are both out. So Deontay Foreman is the next man up. Go get Foreman. Yeah, it's definitely a high ankle sprain. He messed that thing up real good. And he made like a jump cut to come back in, and then he just came right back out. So, and he went straight down too. He didn't even fight. He took 2 steps, went nope, and just went straight down. So, yeah, it's not looking good for Herbert. It's not looking good for Johnson, at least for 1 week. I would probably play Foreman next week, so I'd grab him now. All right, let's move on to the Titans versus the Colts. So we got the Titans, who are 2-2, at the Colts, who are 2-2 as well. A AFC South matchup. I love it. It opened with Indy at being a 1-point favorite. It has now switched to Tennessee being a 2.5-point favorite with the news of JT. That's weird. That's really weird. Over under for this game is 43. It only went up a half a point. So the big news that we're all been talking about for the last few days, Jonathan Taylor has finally, his practice window has opened. He was full practice all 3 days with his ankle. He's coming back from an ankle injury. He said he's healthy. He's 100%. He's ready to go. And he's waiting to go and play this week versus the Tennessee Titans. Now, the caveat to all this, he's not activated yet. They have until tomorrow night or tomorrow afternoon to activate him to the active roster. If he is on the active roster, he will be available to play. So you're going to have to wait until tomorrow. I will tell you to keep an eye out for these particular alerts. I will be posting them in our sleeper channel. Make sure you guys check out our sleeper channel, which is below, and make sure you guys are in it. I do updates. I do injury updates every day, all day. If you're in that and you have the notifications on, you see how much I get these particular injury alerts. I get them before sleeper in 90% of the time. Make sure you guys check it out. Make sure you guys are on it. The other news for this game for the Colts, they should be getting Kelly back. It looks like he's good to go. Quentin Nelson got thrown onto the injury report for a finger or a hand or something like that. I think he'll kind of gut it out. We'll have to wait and see more towards game time. But if they have Kelly and Nelson in, I have a stronger faith in Jonathan Taylor being okay. The biggest caveat to that is for the Titans, Jeffrey Simmons is currently questionable at the time. So this is going to be a little bit interesting. Treylon Burks is listed as out. Henry and Hopkins should be good to go regardless of them missing practice Wednesday and Thursday. They got full practices in on Friday. Seems to be their vet schedule. So just always be aware if you don't see them on the schedule for Wednesday and Thursday, 9 times out of 10, they're usually back on Friday. And Coach Vrabel has no problem listing them as questionable and leaving them up till game time. So just be aware of that. And he's done that with both of them twice. So I just follow that trend. Either way, in this game for the Colts, Anthony Richardson should be a must start. He is somebody that you should be playing every week. Just do it. He's finally gotten up to that point. He really has. And I didn't think it would happen, to be honest. So I'm giving him credit where credit is due. Anthony Richardson, good to go. Michael Pittman's been an on-off guy. It's hard to trust, but the Titans are probably one of the worst against the pass. Throw him in there. He should be fine. They don't really have anybody at tight end that I care about. They kind of switch everybody all around. The second wide receiver is probably Downs, but Alec Pierce gets involved too, so it's hard to trust one of the two of them. If JT plays, do you start him? That's, I think, the biggest question. Honestly, I'm playing him in one league if he's playing. One I have to because I have Derrick Henry and Gibbs, but I'm at the point where I figure why not give it a shot. I would play him. I'm not 100. I'm not very confident about it. I'm probably like 80% confident that he'll do just fine. But I think the question goes, if you have Zach Moss, what do you do with him? Keep him on your bench. Don't get rid of him. Don't start him. I think they're going to ease him in a little bit. See, Jeffrey Simmons is questionable, and he's on the other side of questionable. He's on the bad side of questionable. So that's why I'm a little bit more confident than I would be, because if Jeffrey Simmons is out, I'm good to go. Load him up. Simmons is the defense. Simmons is the whole cornerstone for that defense and why they're so good against the run. If he's out or if he's 50% of what he normally is, then he's going to be out of the lineup most likely. I'm okay with playing JT. I think at this point you kind of have to hold on to Zach Moss and keep him as a handcuff because we saw how valuable he could be as a runner. I think they're going to ease JT back in to start. So you're going to kind of see a decent production, where he might be a very low-end flex play. But other than that, I think for now you just hold on to Moss. You're not playing him this week, though. I wouldn't play him. So, yeah, that's how I feel about that. You're definitely on the Titans side. You're playing Henry. You're definitely playing. You got to play Hopkins at this point. He's just too good to not. Nick Westbrook-Akine, I'm going to bring his name up again. Since Burks has been out, he's been actually viable. So just he's more of a DFS play for me. He's more of a really deep league play. He's not someone I'm playing in like 12-team leagues, but he's just good to have on your bench. He's good to have just in case. You never know what's going to happen with this team. But Hopkins is hurt every week. It could be to the point where he will be the guy at one point. That's why I like Nick Westbrook-Akine. I think he's actually a really good receiver. He's been productive in their stead when they're not there. So at least throw him on your bench. All right. Let's move on to the Giants. Giants, who are 1-3, going against the Dolphins at Miami, who are 3-1. Miami is favored at 12.5. They opened at 11 and they went up 1.5 after they heard that the news that I'm going to be breaking to you in a minute. The over-under went from 49.5 to 47.5. All points for the Giants, I'm assuming. Giants are going to be missing Andrew Thomas, Breeson, and Michael Smith. They're all going to be out. So the whole basically middle of the line, or no, Shane Lemieux, I apologize. Andrew Thomas, Shane Lemieux, and Michael Smith are going to be out. So center, fill-in center, and guard, and Andrew Thomas will be out for this game. I am very surprised they haven't thrown Andrew Thomas on IR yet. Anyway, Wan'Dale Robinson is questionable for this game with a knee injury, and so is Saquon Barkley with the questionable with the ankle. He's been limited all week. We've been talking about it throughout the show. I'm not going to go too much detail. I don't want to keep continuing on and beating the same old dead horse about this particular team and what they need to do and how they need to do it. Dolphins will be without Tyron Armstead. They put him on IR today. They said he should be good to go near the end of the year, and he'll be back at one point. So they said that his season is not over. Dolphins, load him up. Have fun. A chain, good. Mostert, fine. He's been viable even as a flex start. Hill, Waddle, enjoy. Tua, enjoy. For the Giants, I don't know who you start. Wan'Dale in PPR leagues is low 3, roughly. He should be okay. And that's about it. Waller is just nowhere to be seen. There's a lot of people I would play over Waller. Danny is just not viable at this point, and Barkley is hard to trust. I want to play him. I want to tell everybody here, play Saquon Barkley. I can't do it. It's hard for me to say it. I feel like in some situations you have no other choice. I feel with the bye weeks, you could be in a situation where you have no other choice. You're playing him with lower expectations. You're definitely thinking that if his projection is at 15, he's getting 8. Like, he's not going to get what you want. He'll probably have one of those 20, 30, and 20 attempts for 30 yards and a touchdown. Like, that's my ideal. Like, that's my thought that's going to happen with him if you're going to play him. So I'm really kind of against it. I think Wan'Dale Robinson is slowly gaining traction and doing well. He's able to get open. He looks a lot, he looks fast. He looks real quick. He's the only guy that did well in the games the last few weeks. So for me, Wan'Dale isn't a horrible option. They're increasing his snap count as well. Hodges is probably number 2 on that list. But yeah, this is going to be a tough one. This is going to be a tough one to watch. So yeah. Next up, we got the Saints. Saints are 2-2, going to New England to face the Patriots at 1-3. Patriots are favored by 1. Over-under is 39 points. For the Saints, Juwan Johnson, their tight end, is out. Carr is listed as questionable at this point with his shoulder injury. So at this point, the Patriots are listing Ramondre Stevenson as questionable with a thigh injury. And the Pats also list Christian Gonzalez and Matt Judon. They are out for the season. So they're losing huge pieces to their defense as well as big, maybe a piece from their offense. For this game, you're not starting Mac Jones. His week one has gone, come and gone real quick. Stevenson is viable if he's available, if that makes sense. Devontae Parker, you just can't use, just not worth your time. Hunter Henry is a low-end tight end one if you want to play him. He's okay. For the Saints, Kamara could be fine. I mean, he had 14 freaking targets last night, so PPR, enjoy. Kamara should be fine. Chris Olave should be good. I think Michael Thomas should be fine as well. Derek Carr, lower expectations. And if you're lowering it for Derek Carr, you kind of got to lower it for everybody else. I think Kamara is probably your best bet in this game, even though the Patriots are decent against the run, but no more Judon, no more Gonzalez. That kind of changes their whole dynamic, to be honest. And from what I can see here, the Patriots are 19th against the running back. We'll see. I'm still okay with playing Kamara comparatively to, most of the other options in this game. Low scoring game, so it's hard to trust anybody, to be, quite fair. Ray going, don't use any players from the toilet. That is the Giants. Yeah, I know. And he's a Giants fan, so that kind of hurt both of us. Just a little. Yeah. Anyway, let's move on to the Baltimore Ravens, who are 3-1 going against their AFC South divisional opponent, the Steelers, at 2-2. Right now, Baltimore is favored by 4.5. The over-under is 3.5. The over-under is 38. My bad. Ravens list Odell as questionable, and they are getting Rashad Bateman back with no injury tag. No injury tag for once. Kenny Pickett is no longer on the injury report either. I mean, his injury looked bad. I was really shocked that he was, that he isn't listed on this injury report. But he's good to go, apparently. Full go in practices, did well. I think he started limited, went full, and he's good. Pat Freiermuth will be out. So he will be out. His injury looked bad too. So do you play Darrell Washington? I don't think so. I don't think he's going to be used as much as people think he might be. I think they kind of have to lean on Harris and Jalen Warren a little bit to kind of keep the pressure off of Pickett. So I don't hate Harris in this matchup. I don't hate Warren in this matchup. I think both can be used in some capacity. Warren more for deeper leagues. I think Pickens should be fine. You're not playing Pickett in 2QB league. He would be the only time I would maybe play Pickett, but Pickett is one of those scenarios where I'm probably not playing him if I have other options. For the Ravens, I mean, Zay Flowers is, you can only really trust Zay Flowers and Mark Andrews, and of course Lamar. But the running backs are just tough to, Justice Hill. It could be Gus Edwards. It could be Melvin Gordon. There's so many people that it could be. Could be Keenan Mitchell. Like, we don't know who this, backfield really is. So for me, I'm staying away from the running backs from the Ravens until further notice. But wide receivers, like I said, Zay Jones, I'm good, or Zay Flowers, I'm good with, and Mark Andrews. Those are the guys I would go with that group. So, George Cook in the house. What's going on, man? Hope all is well. He goes, I own Tua. Would you trade Pollard and Waddle for Tyreek and Stevenson? Half PPR. No. I understand why you probably want to get rid of Waddle because he's been hurt often, and you're kind of rolling with just Pollard and then Tyreek. Yeah, you get a little bit steady with Stevenson in there, so I understand what you're looking for. I like Pollard more than Stevenson, and Waddle and Tyreek are on a really good offense, and they can both go off. So yeah, I'm gonna stick with the Pollard and Waddle. I don't think you can trade for that yet. I don't think it. I think I would go for a better. I would go for a better running back if the guy has something available. Stevenson's probably not the guy. I see a lot of people trying to trade away Stevenson. So when I see a lot of people trying to get rid of him, that's when I'm like, eh. So other running backs are Aaron Jones and Pacheco. Okay, already have Diggs too. Well, Diggs doesn't matter in this equation. No, yeah, I wouldn't make that trade. If these are your running backs, I'm not making that trade. If this is the running backs that are on his team, I would ask for no. I would say I would ask for Pacheco, but I think that's a downgrade. Yeah. I mean, if those are your running backs, I would keep what you got. I think you're in a good spot with Diggs and Waddle. Trying to get Hill and Diggs is a toughie. I only see it in really rare situations. So, yeah, I don't know. I think I would still keep the trade. I wouldn't trade, and I would keep Pollard and Waddle. I think you have good value, and I get it. You drafted Pollard in the first, Waddle in the second, and the other guy drafted Tyreek in the first and Stevenson in the second or third. So you're basically just switching your team up value-wise. So George goes, just getting different opinions. It's pretty 50-50, depends on how much you value the Tua and Tyreek stack. Yeah, no, I can completely understand that. You still have a good stack with Waddle, and you have a better runner in Pollard. So, I mean, I think you're in a pretty good spot to begin with. I mean, your record's probably what? 2-2? Maybe 3-1. That's my guess. So you're at the higher tier of your league, most likely. That's my guess. I mean, tell me if I'm wrong, but I feel like you're in the top. Yeah, 3-1. Just feels like that based on what you're telling me. So I don't think you do anything yet. I think you're in a good spot. Ride the wave, continue to do well. You have to kind of the hard part is Aaron Jones in this equation. You're trading away Pollard, you're getting Stevenson, and then you're running Stevenson, Jones, and Pacheco. And I don't like that combination. I do like Pollard, Pacheco, and then having Jones as maybe a flex every so often. So I'd rather have that or being able to use Jones once he gets healthy. I would trade Jones when he gets healthy and does well, and then maybe make that more like a Jones Waddle for Tyreek and Stevenson at that point. So yeah, well, that's my whole point. Like, I'd rather have Pacheco. Pacheco is to me, I like Pacheco a lot more just because of the offense, and two, I love the way he runs. Like, I love his style. Jones is good, but coming off hamstrings, man, are not easy. Like, I'm still nursing a hamstring that I got 4 weeks ago that I freaking pulled, and it popped. Like, and I'm not an athlete. I am, but I'm not like not like these guys. And I'm not training it every day. I'm not like, doing what they do. But at the end of the day, it still bothers me. So these guys have plenty of time to get back. They get therapy. They get all different types of stuff. And honestly, Like, if they're still waiting to play or still having a rough time and, they eased him in last week, just not my thing. So, D's nuts. My name is Jeff. My name is Jeff. He goes, T-Law just got dropped. Should I drop Watson or Goff or both? Or both? I would drop Watson for Law. Keep Goff. I'm good with that. I'd rather have Tyler Law. I'd rather have Trevor Lawrence and Jared Goff than Deshaun Watson and Jared Goff. That's just me, though. Like, I like Trevor Lawrence more than most people. Must be the hair. But, yeah, go pick him up. I don't know why someone would drop him. I know he hasn't been playing great, but he's a solid player. So, their loss, your gain. Enjoy that win. Let's move on to the next game. We got the Bengals, who are 1-3, unfortunately, going to Arizona to face the Cardinals. Whew, okay. We got the opening for this. The current line is the Cincinnati Bengals are favored by 3. Over-under is 44.5. T. Higgins was only limited on Friday with a rib injury. Now, from what he keeps telling us, it's more, well, from what everyone keeps saying, one, it's a fractured rib. Thankfully, it might, they didn't say anything about cartilage. Cartilage is a little bit different to heal. And if it's just the bone, it takes a little bit longer, but it's more of a pain management thing. They could, put a flap jacket on him and stuff like that if they really wanted him to play. But he was only limited on Friday with that rib injury. I'm leaning a different way. Go somewhere else without, I'm not playing Higgins. Joe Burrow was not on their report at all, so he is not even on their report. Cardinals had no one significant that you guys would ever care about on that list. So they are good to go overall. So Cardinals, who I'm starting, Connor, volume play. Enjoy. Keep playing him until the wheels fall off. He's a solid, consistent RB2. He has RB1 upside. I just like Connor is usually the safe play. The riskier plays in this, everyone asks me about, we got questions before about Michael Wilson. We got I've gotten a ton of questions with Hollywood Brown. Honestly, I don't trust Brown. It's hard to trust Wilson. He had a really good game the other day. I give him a lot of credit. I love this kid. I liked him out of college. I saw a lot of tape. A lot of my buddies brought it up to me, and I was like, holy crap, he's actually good. One of the tallest, one of the taller, bigger receivers in this class, and he looks good. I have him in a ton of best ball leagues, so he probably won me something that last week. But it's hard for me to say go start those guys. I just don't trust them. They're low-end wide receiver 3s, in my opinion. Hollywood is still on that cusp for me. So, yeah, Dobbs is a break glass type scenario. He's a low-end or high-end QB2 just because of his legs and his ability to, he's actually been playing decent. But I can't, no. Now the big question. Do you start Joe Burrow? I have Joe Burrow and Jared Goff. I have a way out. Do I play Jared Goff? No, I'm going to be playing Burrow. Why am I playing Burrow? Well, it's going to hurt more with him on my bench doing well than it will be to play him and him to go off. Like, if he's going to go off, it's this game. It has to be. It has to be. I know the Cardinals beat the Cowboys. I get it. They're 1-3 too. They faced the Cardinals. They lost the Giants. They beat the Cowboys. They lost the Giants. I get it. I would feel like crap. Chase, you're playing. Mixon, you're playing. That's about it. You're not playing T. Higgins. I would probably play Boyd in flex play situations if you're in a deeper league. But you're definitely having Boyd on your bench. That's what I would say. Otherwise, yeah, that's all I would do for this game. Nothing crazy for this one. Damn it, what's going on, man? He goes, I need to trade for a running back because I have Gibbs and Demont bye week problem. Got it. So I'm willing to send any or all. Okay. D-Hop, Dotson, Dobbs, Waller. Who should I target? Hunt? No. Cook? No. Miller? No. Zeke? No. Stevenson? Maybe. Pierce, Sanders. If you're going to target anybody, I'm targeting Pierce and Stevenson. I like Pierce more. I'm higher on Pierce than a lot of people, though. So I would temper expectation in that case. Stevenson, it's just hard to trust. You could probably get away with Dotson for Pierce at the moment. Yeah. I think you could get away with Dotson for Pierce. I mean, I just traded Dotson for Laporta. So, I mean, that's about where the value is. Pierce is a little bit higher, but I mean, you could probably do Dotson and D-Hop for Pierce or something like that. So Tama goes, my thing is I don't need one until week 9. Okay. So let it play out a little bit. Like you don't really need everyone's like going on a trading frenzy because it's week 4 and everyone kind of sees how everything's been and they have an idea of what they like or what they don't like, so on and so forth. You have time, my friend. Enjoy the run with what you got. But yeah, I honestly, if you're going to target one of those guys, I'm targeting Pierce. Maybe Sanders, but he's got to get healthy. But Stevenson's probably my number 2, and then Sanders. The rest of the guys are kind of off my list. Zeke, Miller, Cook, and Hunt. No, I don't want to. All right, let's keep this moving right along. We got the 4-0 Eagles going to Los Angeles to face the Rams, who are 2-2. Eagles are favored by 4. The over-under is 50.5. This is the highest game total that we have for the week. So this should be a fun one. The big news, the crazy news that everyone's talking about is Cooper Kupp. He is, he practiced in full all week. They listed him as limited, but he practiced in full. But he did practice and got through the week. McVay said they will be playing him. So they just need to do the, send in the thing, sign a piece of paper saying he's good to go. Now, he has to be activated to the active roster, just like Jonathan Taylor. So be aware of that. He still needs to be activated as of 4 o'clock tomorrow. So I would say keep an eye out for that. If he's activated, you got to play him. In most situations, I think anybody wants to play them. Just because, one, when you have a guy like Kupp, you can't not play him. I understand Puka is there. They're going to have to find a way because they want to do well. Eagles currently, I thought they were way better against the pass. They're 23rd against the pass. They're going to be out without Fletcher Cox and Cam Jurgens tomorrow. So Cam Jurgens is their guard, and Fletcher Cox is their D tackle. He will be out. They still got 2 studs at D tackle, so I'm not too worried about that. But I would still load up Kupp if you have him and if he's active. Kyron Williams has a hip injury, and he was limited Thursday. It looks like he could play. If you're unsure, I would grab Ronnie Rivers if you can. This game's at 4 o'clock, so you want to have some type of backup. I would throw Kyron in your flex if you're looking to play him and have somebody available to maybe switch him out. God forbid he is listed as out. They need the guy. They've been running this guy into the freaking ground. They need a little help. I would grab Ronnie Rivers if he's available and you have Kyron Williams. He would be your best bet to at least hold on the bench. Stafford has a hip contusion, but he practiced in full all week. He's good to go. This is a good matchup, good bad matchup for Stafford. I would be very like I had Stafford and I went and got Goff. But with Cup back, it could change the whole dynamic. He's been playing well. I think he's at least 14 points. I got to do my math here and double check, but I think he's had at least 14 points every week. So, I mean, can't go wrong with those numbers in general. His projected on Yahoo is 22. He's had, 17, 18, 17, 18, 16, and 21 the last 3 weeks. Or last 4 weeks. So you're definitely loading up Stafford regardless of the matchup. Higbee's probably the next guy. Goddard, I think you can play. You're definitely playing AJ and Smith. You're definitely playing Swift at this point. For those who haven't gotten to see it yet, go see the Eagles fan picture of last names. Kelsey's, Cock, Hurts, Swift. Love it. Absolutely love it. Eagles fans, you got to pass for the day. Ronald, if you're watching or when you watch, that was hey. So, yeah. Mason goes, Kyren Williams off injury report. Good to go. Rivers still could see more work. Yeah. I saw him on the report, though. That's why I wrote that in. It could have changed. Their injury report has been all over the place because I don't understand why. Sometimes they come in later in the afternoon. Right now, they list everybody as unspecified, and they don't have a Friday practice in yet. So that's kind of why I said what I said. He was limited in practice on Thursday, but they don't list Friday. So if he's off the report, great. But I would just keep an eye on it. Just keep a little eye on it. It's worth it in the long run. Let me double check something real quick. Okay, so he is off the report because I'm playing Williams this week and I don't see a Q. So it looks like he is off the report. So Mason, thank you. Appreciate it. All righty, let's move right along. If you guys have questions, throw them in the chat. We're almost done with the 4:00 games. We have the Jets, who are 1-3, going against the Broncos out west, who are 1-3 as well. Broncos are favored by 2.5. The over-under is 43.5. Jets are actually pretty healthy, considering. Broncos have Javonte Williams with a thigh injury. They listed as a thigh, not a hip injury. He did not practice Wednesday. He was limited Thursday, full on Friday. He is listed as questionable for this week. That's why a lot of people ran out and got Jaleel McLaughlin and Samaje Perine. Okay. I don't think I'm playing either one of them. Maybe McLaughlin, but that's if Williams is inactive. I think if Javonte is active, it's kind of a 3-back committee that they're just going to rotate in and out. I think McClellan would probably have the better of the game, but Sutton, I think you're playing. Judy is a bench. I'm not playing Judy. But maybe this week is the week. Maybe. What was I going to say? Then Russ has actually been pretty good. Russ is definitely a play. Hard to start Zach Wilson regardless of the matchup. Garrett Wilson, you're playing. Breece Hall, you're playing after the news that he has no leash on him anymore. So I'm definitely playing those two guys. Other than that, this game is pretty mediocre. Whenever I think of mediocre, I always think of the guy from Mad Max. Mediocre. Yeah. Anyway, Mason goes, I'm playing him too. That's how I knew. I had Puka and Cup 2 trying to trade 1. Yeah. I see a lot of people after week 4 going, oops, I need to trade everybody now. They might have had like 3 guys from the same team. They're like, whoops, I got to trade. Yeah. It is what it is. it's good to have a little diversity in your portfolio. I try doing it all the time. Most of my teams don't have a lot of the same players on the same teams, unless, like one of my teams, I have Monty and Laporta. I have Goff now too, but I try not to take the guys that eat into each other. Monty doesn't really take away too much from Laporta, and Laporta kind of, in this case, if he gets a touchdown, great. Takes away, it doesn't really take from Monty in that case, because Monty's got to get down the field, so little things like that. It's just hard to have the wide receiver running back combo unless they're on a team with, 400 yards of offense the whole game. So, all righty, let's move right along to the Chiefs, who are 3-1, going to Minnesota, who are 1-3. Chiefs are favored by 3.5. That is from that went down. Chiefs were favored by 5. So it is now down to 3.5. The over-under, this is the highest point total of the week at 52.5. So this game looks like it could be a shootout. Chiefs, only big question mark for them is Nick Bolton. He's been out the last few weeks with an injury. He is questionable for this game. Hey, if he's back, that's a huge upgrade for that defense. So I think you're just playing everybody that you can. For the Chiefs, you're, of course, playing Mahomes and Kelsey. You're definitely playing, I think you can play with Pacheco with some certainty. Wide receivers, it's so hard to pick these wide receivers for the Kansas City Chiefs. They're all like, it's kind of like the Giants wide receivers, if that makes any sense, and if that's even true. They're just really boomer bust every week, and it's hard to trust one. They don't really just stick to one guy. Tony has basically fallen to irrelevant. Rice is probably the best guy out of that group, talent-wise. Sky Moore kind of goes in and out. MVS has like boom and bust games because, he'll get that like 3 catches for 50 yards, 3 catches for 80 yards or something like that. But other than that, it's so hard to trust this offense because it all goes through Kelsey and the run game. So, it's hard to go with any wide receivers with this group. For the Vikings, you're playing Madison unless you have better options. So he's more of a low-end flex play for me. Kirk Cousins, you're loading up until further notice. He's very good at football, and it's because he's got a guy like Justin Jefferson. Load up Jefferson. KJ Osborne is starting to get a little bit more notice, but they do go a little bit more to Hawk. I think it's more targets-wise, if memory serves me. It basically goes JJ Hawk and then KJ. And then Addison right behind him. So for me, I like Addison as a bench play, but it's hard to start Addison unless you have nobody else to start. And I don't think I would start Addison in this game just in general, unless, like I said, unless you're in a really bad scenario. All right, moving on to the game of the week. This is the game everybody's talking about. This is the game that I am excited about and hope it lives up to expectations. Cowboys, who are 3-1, are going out west to go visit their old rivals of the San Francisco 49ers, who are 4-0. San Francisco is favored by 3.5. The over-under for this game is 45. This game is going to be fun. Cowboys have their entire starting O-line finally healthy for the first time all season. They will all be in, so they're good to go. Otherwise, they're healthy. The 49ers only will probably be without Elijah Mitchell. He is likely to be out, if not already out. So he won't be playing. Otherwise, they are pretty good to go. So I think in this case, I'm starting everybody I can. Frank, Jake Ferguson has been a viable play. I would lower your expectations on him though. Well, maybe higher the expectation because they're going to probably target him a lot. I have no problem with Pollard. I think he'll be just fine. McCaffrey, you're playing until, and you're picking the anytime touchdown for McCaffrey. I think Brandon Ayuk, I think Debo is fine. Kittle should be fine. Purdy is probably the only one that I'm like unsure of. And that's just because he's usually a high end 2 for me. But otherwise, load everybody up. Dak, I don't start But yeah, if you need him, go for it. It's going to be a fun game. So George Cook goes, do I flex Pacheco, Watson, Tank Dell, or Romeo Dobbs half PPR? I think I answered this question before. That's a good question. It's between Tank Dell and Pacheco for me. Half PPR. Like I said, Tank Dell, I have a feeling about. It's just the trend keeps going. Nico, Tank, Nico, Tank. Well, I think Nico went twice, and then it's maybe Tank again. I just keep seeing this weird, usage of him. And I think that AJ Tyrell is actually a really good shutdown corner. So if they put him on Nico, then Tank Dell is going to enjoy, a good day. Yeah, I think they recognize that. I think Stroud is smart enough to look at the report and going, oh, don't throw to that guy. Let's go to that guy. Or they're going to try to move him around. I think Tank Dell is not bad. But if you want guaranteed touches, the better floor for this guy is Pacheco. The Vikings, let's see where they are versus the running back. They're 11th versus the running back, so they're middle of the road against running backs. Pacheco is going to get most of the touches in this particular game. I don't think I can trust Watson or Dobbs in their matchup, even though it's a good one. My gut is Pacheco and Dell. If you're in a situation where you're facing DJ Moore, I would probably play Dell. So if you faced DJ Moore last night, I would play Tank Dell. If you didn't, I would play Pacheco. If you guys are like even and your stats all look kind of, similar, I'd probably go Pacheco just because he's the floor play. He's more of a safer play. And I'm a little more conservative than most. Tank Dell is definitely one of those. He's been playing well lately. But he can also kind of disappear on you, in some situations. So just be, like I said, that's like a boom bust option in my opinion. I'm trying to find him real quick. I want to make sure I'm getting the right numbers here. So yeah. Because we had week one, he only had 4 points, went to 16 points in week 2, and then 23 in week 3, went down to 4. So he's a boomer bust guy. Pacheco is probably the guy I'm going to tell you to play. Tank Dell, though, could go off. I'd probably rank Dobbs higher. So, yeah. So no, so George, honestly, I might have Dobbs higher than Dell, like in rankings. Christian Watson, I'm not a big fan of yet. I understood what he did last year. 1, it was with Rodgers. 2, he was a lot healthier. 3, he's coming back from injury. I think Dobbs is probably a better play than Dell. But I still think Pacheco is the better of the 3. He's guaranteed to touch the ball. He's guaranteed to do well. I just like Pacheco. I have a better feeling about Pacheco than I do about Romeo or about the other guys. But Tank Dell is definitely a guy that if you're looking for that ceiling play, he is definitely the ceiling guy for you. Definitely the ceiling guy. The floor play is definitely Pacheco. So we got Tamian going, RIP to my man's playing DJ Moore. I did that. I did too. So don't worry. I scored 200 points last week. So it doesn't worry me as much. But good luck, G. Yeah, man. A lot of people either played him or either played against him or used him. And yeah. Alex Smith, what's going on? Start 3 PPR. Swift, Kamara, Carwin Williams, ETN, or Waddle. Jesus Christ. What type of league is this? 3 PPR. So Kamara, Swift are the top options. Then it's between Kyron Williams, ETN, and Waddle. That's a tough one. That's a real tough one for me, actually. I hate picking against my Giants, but Waddle's not a bad option here. Kyron Williams has just been playing out of his mind lately. But he'll touch the ball more than all three of them. I think I have to lean Kamara, Swift, and Williams. Yeah, I think that's who I'm going to go with here. Those are three potent running backs, especially after what we saw from Kamara last week. That's good for you, Alex. Good for you. Casey, what's going on, man? He goes rest of season. Nico Collins or Jalen Waddle, full PPR. Whew. Oh, you're giving me a real tough one here. My love for Nico Collins is highly documented. Rest of season. You had to add that little caveat, huh? Both are on high-flying offenses. Both are playing real well. Jalen Waddle, unfortunately, has had a couple weeks off because of concussion. Both have, like I said, both have quarterbacks that are willing to throw the ball 40 times a game. Rest of season. Oh, that's tough. I think I would be having an unpopular opinion to say Nico Collins because I have my consensus rankings up right now where I usually take consensus first and then I kind of play with it during the week prior to Sunday. And right now, consensus rankings have, for just this week, Jalen Waddle at number 9 and Nico Collins at 16. So most weeks, Jalen Waddle is up there close to Tyreek in most situations. It's so hard to tell you to play or at least view a guy like Jalen Waddle for the rest of the season. Or, Nico Collins over a guy like Jalen Waddle. Wow. You picked two really interesting players. The number 2 on a high-flying offense, the number 1 on another, offense that's been throwing the ball more than I anticipated. I've been high on Nico Collins all year. Off season, I told everybody, he's your guy. Pick him up late. Jalen Waddle, you got him for a decent price, probably second, third round. Collins, you probably got for nothing. So, rest of the season, I don't want to give you the cop-out answer and tell you both. Keep both and just keep running with them. Wow. Casey, you gave me a stumper here. I can't really give you a strong answer because I like both these guys. I'm high on both these guys. I like both of them. I like Nico because he was that hidden gem that no one thought about. So that's why I have this, he tugs at my heartstrings a little bit. Jalen Waddle has just been good, and he's just been hurt. So he's a little bit lower in rankings. I'm going to have to go against I'm going to have to stop listening to my heart in this one. Jalen Warren, go with Jalen Waddle rest of the season. I think he's in a too good of an offense. He can, they spread the ball out enough. Yeah, I'm going to have to go with Waddle. Wow. That hurts to say. I don't even know if I like it. Now I have to go look and I have to do number crunching. You're going to make me have to have anxiety about this, man, because this is a tough question for me. I don't like having questions where I'm like, they're so close in everything that Nico Collins is just so high up there. Wow, Curtis Samuel's in top 25. Ugh. Waddle's not even in the top 25 right now. He's down there with Chase, but you're not playing Chase, if that makes sense. Even though Waddle's had a couple of weeks where he hasn't played, like, where is he? He's not top 50? No. Am I looking at this right? He's not top 50 right now? I know he's missed a week. Wow, he's not top 50. Holy. Braxton Berrios has more points than Waddle? Oh, my Lord. Yeah, no, I'm going to have to stick with Nico then. I'm going Nico Collins. I'm going back to my guy. Wow. Wow. He's not even top 50. Wow. That's incredible. It's incredible to see Curtis Samuel where he is. Jesus. 8, 4, 7, 14, and 6. Ugh. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. Casey, going back to it, Nico Collins. Hopefully you stayed with me through that whole rant. All right. Last game of the week. We got the Packers, who are 2-2, at the Las Vegas Raiders, who are 1-3. Vegas is favored by 1.5. The original and came in, the opening was for Green Bay at 2.5. So this thing flipped 3 points in a matter of a couple days. That's pretty significant. And it's mostly because of Jimmy G. The over-under is 44.5. Jimmy G is out of concussion protocol. He will be starting. We will not be having a rookie play for him this week. Devontae Adams didn't practice Wednesday and Thursday with a shoulder injury. Didn't practice. I don't know if he practiced today. They didn't send that report out yet. I have to double check. But at this point, he's on the injury report with something. Aaron Jones and Christian Watson are both listed as questionable. They were limited all week like they have been the last few weeks. So those are the only big injuries that are in this game. So if Devontae Adams is out, I mean, Jacoby Myers is a must-start in most situations. I still think he's a must-start regardless. Jacobs, you're playing without a problem. Jimmy G is a low-end, high-end too. You can play him in super flex leagues. Jordan Love, low-end QB1. He should be fine. Aaron Jones, I wouldn't trust. I don't trust Christian Watson either. I think, they might be on the same snap count. They might not. Who knows? I just don't trust them. A.J. Dillon, I don't trust. I think Romeo Doubs is the only guy you can really trust in that offense in any shape, way, or form. So, yeah, I'm going to leave it at that. Mo Diesel goes stash one, half PPR. Wandell, Brandon Cooks, Josh Downs, or Jordan Mason, Stroud or Stafford. I got Cup. All right, so that's the next question. There's two. Okay, so who are you stashing? Wandell. Stash Wandell Robinson out of those guys. If I had to rank them, Wandell, Downs, Cooks. That's how I would do it. Jordan Mason, you could. I understand why, but no. I want Wandell. I think he'll be fine. And you go Stroud or Stafford. I think I would lean Stafford, not just because you have Cup. I just think he has a matchup that is more favorable to him and his being able to throw the ball a ton. Slay is not doing what he normally does recently. So, but yeah, Stafford here. So, all righty. Whew. We did it. Almost 2 hours. Good for us. We did a good job. Thanks for all those who have been staying in the chat and keeping me company throughout this whole 2-hour session. I appreciate everybody that has stick with me throughout the whole time. So thank you for throwing in your questions as we went along. I hope they were helpful. I hope they're able to help you win your league or at least your week. So hopefully that's the case. Please make sure, if you haven't already, make sure you guys check out Underdog Fantasy right up here. If you haven't, you should. They have best ball. They have pick'em in certain states. So make sure you guys use the promo code Get Right, and when you do, they will double your first deposit. So make sure you guys use it. You got everything right there. You got the states that it's in, and so on and so forth. Unfortunately, I got word today that they are possibly not going to be in New York for Pick'em anymore. Apparently, there's a whole article about it. You can read it. I don't have the time to explain it, but keep an eye out for that. If you're in New York, it might be going away, but best ball will forever be there because it's best ball. So just make sure you guys are using the promo code Get Right, and when you do, they will match your first deposit. Also, remember, check out trophysmack.com. Make sure you guys are using that same promo code Get Right, and they will help you at checkout. They have all different types of things. They have the belt. This is their best seller. I know that we're in the middle of the season, but you gotta think and reach for that championship. Wouldn't it be wonderful to have that belt or have a trophy like this that you can customize to make to be your own? A Kirk Cousins chain. I mean, just to give you an example, we are giving away once we get to 1,000 subscribers, we are going to give away a Get Right Fantasy 1,000 subscriber ring right here. We're going to be giving that away, so keep an eye out for that video once we hit 1,000 subscribers. We want this to go to we want to represent all these people that have come in and given us these subs. You guys have been awesome and amazing to stick through it with us throughout this process, being with us from the very beginning. And those that are even new, thank you for joining. So please make sure you guys check us out. 1,000, I mean, come on. This thing looks legit. You can make it anything that you want. So make sure you guys check out trophysmack.com, and they will help you out at checkout when you use the promo code Get Right. All right. Make sure you guys check out our other affiliates as well. The Fantasy Frontline podcast with Tim and AJ. Make sure you check them out. The Check Down podcast is every Wednesday at 8:30 with Cody McGoats and Shirtless Pat and the crew. So make sure you guys check them out as well. We also got Adam with the Dead Zone Fantasy Show. He should be coming out with stuff shortly. So make sure you guys check out Adam's show. And so make sure you guys sub to them as well as us. Make sure you guys hit that like button as well. I hope you guys enjoyed this week 5 breakdown. I will be back with you guys on Sunday morning. We got the early game with the Jaguars and Buffalo. So I will be giving you guys just quick little brief highlights of that game as it goes on, as well as actives and inactives at 11:30. I'll be helping you guys out with last-minute start-sit questions, as well as some DFS value picks if anyone is into that. Then Ant and Frank will be here on Monday to go over overreactions and waiver wire picks as well. And then we'll be back here on Wednesday next week. We're going to have roster management. See what I did there? Buy, sell, trade targets show. So make sure you guys check them out if you guys have buy or sell or trade questions. That's the show to bring it to. We got game by game start sit live question show back next Friday with me and Rasta, and then Sunday morning back again. I will be there every Sunday morning as much as I can. Keep you guys updated. We'll see how this weekend turns out. Got a couple things going on. First anniversary with the wife. Got to figure out some stuff. We have different things going on that we need to figure out. Might be here, might not. We'll see how it goes. Either way, someone will be here on Friday. It'll either be me or Ant or both. We'll see. So thank you all for joining us tonight. I hope everyone had a wonderful night. I hope this was a good time for a lot of people. It was a great time for me. So make sure you guys check us out during the week. Make sure you guys are hitting that like and subscribe button. If I don't have any other questions in the chat, thank you so much. I really appreciate everybody. I hope everyone has a wonderful evening. So for Ant, for Dustin, for Frank, for all those at the Get Right family, have a great night, and we'll see you soon. Good luck in week 5. Peace.
Wanted to write fantasy is is the play. Marking often, but I tune in every Friday. Strategies provided.